This is the Premier League in our House Party 5v5 tournament. We are in Season 4 right now, the semifinals. Today we've got on the blue side, Spooky Midnight going up against SkyHi, who will be representing on the red side. I'm your caster, Thunderdome, and today I've got my great friend with me, Lackluster.
Welcome guys, first time, first serve, first coming, what's up? So
Alrighty.
right now, right off the bat, we've got an Alistar ban for Spooky Midnight, and that is answered on the red side by a Maokai ban. Thunder, talk me through these bans.
Alright, right now, Alistar top tier support. I'd rank him at S level. He's got absolutely strong engage, just as powerful peel, and he's tanky as hell.
Alright, and I would argue that, I mean, the same logic could apply to the Maokai pick. We see him, I'd say S tier for sure. Actually, last night was the SKT versus KT, and it was the finals in Korea, and that was first pick banned, same thing. It was top tier, Marin was running that. So I'm sure we don't have any Marins up in here, but he still can be pretty deadly in the hands of someone who's, you know, pretty deft with him.
I don't know, man, these guys are pretty solid players, and Elise banned and Diana. Diana's been coming up a lot more recently due to kind of shifts in the meta to where she's a lot stronger due to her high burst potential and her ability to one-on-one people. And Elise, of course, prime jungler right now, even after they knocked down her Q's damage a little bit.
Yeah, the nerf story recently was a change in the percent max health on her Q in human form. They knocked it down from 8% to 4%, but you know what? She's still pretty strong in the jungle. Her Spiderlings still do magic damage, and they still heal her for quite a fair amount. So she stays healthy in the jungle. Her E still stuns, you know, scaling up to I believe 2 seconds. So it's still a pretty strong gank potential with her.
Yeah, and I guess they want to stop that early game aggression coming out from SkyHi's jungler. And we've got Lulu, who's been strong right now. She can play top lane, she can play mid lane. Sometimes she's played a support, but not favored as much in that role. It's super utility.
Yeah, normally she's not seen in the support role due to the sort of high mana cost, and that's why you'll see, you know, mid laners and top laners that are running Lulu. They'll usually rush a Morellonomicon or possibly even a Nathians. And it looks like the last ban we have for SkyHi is possibly a targeted ban at that Graves AD carry. What are you thinking?
Yeah, he's strong, but he's not top tier like not Shyvana, Callista or Ashe or Tristana. So definitely a target there. And Azir, super powerful in the meta right now. He's got great area, zone control in team fights. He's got a pretty powerful laning phase, and his late game scaling is obscene. And
now
with
the changes to the Nashor's Tooth, Azir has become like you said, a top S pick. Since he doesn't really run that much mana, especially if he's given blue buff. We're seeing a lot of power picks on both sides. You know, Azir you already covered, but I think you were about to talk about Echo and Fizz too, which are both super popular at the moment, especially Echo. He can be run in mid, jungle, or even top lane if you want to, so it's kind of a flex pick there.
Yeah, and that's smart to pick up a flex early on in the draft phase so you can react to how the other team is drafting, and you can essentially get best composition for your team. Gragas, definitely top tier jungler right now. A lot of early game pressure as well as late game scaling for the tankiness in team fights. Thresh, always good to watch.
They're definitely going for a sort of zone potential, you know, create their own environment sort of thing. You know, Thresh has his own in the box. Gragas is able to explosive cask someone back into the team, and same with Azir. He's able to Azir sec people, so they're really looking to kind of separate these team fights and really dominate, you know, make them go the way they want it to.
And that's directly counteracted. SkyHi is looking to go with these high mobility champions. Fizz and Echo can hop around the place, not necessarily over the Azir wall unless they blink it, but they've got the tools to get to the backline. Mordekaiser, what?
I'm getting hyped for that. The Mordekaiser to the changes, yes. I hope he is being run in the bot lane because I can't wait to see this.
It's so oppressive. You hit level 6 far faster than any other person in the duo lane, and because they're duo lane, they level up slower. He's got a shield, he's got lifesteal, he has long-range poke. The only thing he lacks is a little bit of mobility, but he still gets the speed up from the heavy metal.
Yeah, no one can trade with him. My experience so far with Mordekaiser, I was Lucian, and he just, I mean, his E was the same as my auto attack range. It was just ridiculous. He's nearly untradeable with. He'll either build a Doran's shield or possibly Targon's as well, and they'll just infinitely sustain and push you to your turret. And as you touched on, he still gets 100% experience share instead of 75% when split between two people.
And we haven't even mentioned the fact he can control the dragon. If his ult's on the dragon when their team kills it, boom, extra player on the field. And we've got, oh yes, the Vayne locked in. I believe that's going over to Kuro. He's pretty strong in the team fights with Vayne. He's got really solid mechanics. I've seen it in the in-house games. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. And Lee Sin, you think that's going top lane then?
Looking at their team, I have to assume so. We have Azir in the mid lane, and so it looks like that Lee Sin is going top lane. I know that when the Gragas changes first came out and they changed his W to % max health with magic damage, he was running the top lane fairly often, but he seems to be taking his place back into the jungle, so I'd have to see a Lee Sin top coming out here.
And it's great seeing the evolution of some champions over time. Gragas used to be this huge nuke mage, and then he became a top lane kind of tanky person. Now he's this early game and late game scaling jungler. It's pretty cool. And we've got Braum locked in. Pretty good champion. He has a strong laning phase, as well as his unbreakable shield is just, it's so crucial in team fights. It can completely turn the tides.
It's going to be hard, you know, trying to foresee the future here. It's going to be pretty hard for this Vayne to get pushed in and CS under turret. Thresh isn't the best at handling those kinds of situations. While he can hook under turret, he doesn't have a way, you know, really solid way to help her CS or shield her or keep her healthy and sustained. I assume he'll build a Targon's as well to try and counteract the poke and the push. But, I mean, we'll see how effective it is. I would have to give, you know, from this draft phase, I'd have to give the advantage bot side at least to SkyHi.
Yeah, Spooky Midnight is going to want to sit back and scale anyways on Vayne. The likes of Gragas and Azir, they're not too worried about having much happen on the early side of the game. But having someone like a Zed or Fizz who want to spike in the mid game, SkyHi is going to be trying to push these fights and force these fights around objectives. And if Spooky Midnight doesn't give up too much early, they're going to be able to take this late game in their own hands.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note it's actually a Gragas top, so we're seeing Lee Sin in the jungle and Gragas going top, so we'll get to see how that, you know, maybe how he's going to build, if he'll take the Maokai path of the Righteous Glory or perhaps go Rod of Ages. Now that its late game has been buffed, it'll be interesting to see what route he chooses to take.
Absolutely, and Lee Sin's going to try to put on all that early pressure to help counteract the fact that Vayne and Azir are going to probably, I'm saying probably, because, you know, anything can happen, honestly. But yeah, so Lee Sin's going to have a little bit more early game damage and pressure to kind of balance it out for Spooky Midnight.
And I've actually seen a lot of these Lee Sin versus Echo jungle fights. They both have a relatively good early game. Lee Sin is able to, you know, just be that mobility. He has the choice to invade or just kind of farm up and look for ganks. Whereas Echo is going to rely on his W from the Fog of War to try and do those sneak attack stun lockups. And I think that most attention will be put mid lane. Zed does have the advantage in the 1v1 lane, and it's potentially a snowball lane, so I expect Echo to visit there quite often.
Yeah, well, I could see Lee Sin helping out Azir early, but he might spend some time bottom lane just to make sure Vayne's put into a position to where she can carry.
That's true. I don't know too much about the particular people. It looks like Harper Lee will be running the Vayne this time. I haven't seen him in action quite yet, but I you know, first time seeing him. But Vayne definitely does have that option to kind of go off, and she does have outplay potential on Fizz and on Zed. She's actually one of the best people to handle a Zed. As soon as he ults, she can ult tumble out of the way, and it's very hard for him to aim after that. So she will be able to manage in the late game if they can get there. You know, same thing with Azir and same thing with Gragas. The only kind of, it looks like chink in the armor for Spooky Midnight is that Lee Sin jungle. It looks like later on in the game he'll just kind of be like a peel bot if we get to that point.
That might be all they need. Bounce Echo comes in or Fizz comes diving in, and they've used up Playful Trickster or the dash already. Lee Sin's Dragon Kick will be pretty effective at peeling them off, buying those crucial seconds for Harper. Alrighty, and we're going to take a break as they go into the loading screen. We'll be right back on the Rift. Thank you for sticking with us. And we're back on the Rift. We got Spooky Midnight on the blue side, SkyHi on the red side, and the epic first-second game pause. Well, I'm Thunderdome, and today I've got with me my great friend Lackluster.
Welcome back, guys. Yeah, we're jumping right into the game with a pause.
Yeah, it's a technical problem. One of the guys did not connect after the loading screen, so they're trying to get that worked out. Apologize for the delay, but we got more time to analyze it. Think we're going to see any type of invades early on?
Yeah, to look at this teams, it looks like I'm going to predict that we're going to, they're going to try and feel each other out. It looks like Team SkyHi, they don't really have that much opportunity outside of the Braum pick to try and do a level 1 invade, possibly the Echo queue. But other than that, I just think that they're going to, play some wards, play defensive, and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, going up against Thresh, who could take play or hook, and Gragas, who could have body slam, and Lee Sin's got the hyper mobility with Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike, so it could be dangerous going into that. So, probably going to see defensive line awards, but.
All right, and looks like we're about to jump right back into it. So we are back on the Rift, 8 seconds to go, and let's see what everyone's buying. So we have Mordekaiser with the Targons, Braum with the Targons for that annoying, ever so annoying sustain, and it looks like everything's pretty generic. The only thing I see out of place, or perhaps difference, is Gregs picks up a flask and a mana potion as well.
Yeah, I didn't think he's that mana heavy early on to warrant the extra mana potion there because he has flask, but I mean, his preference, it can probably work. He's going to be very hard to take out in lane. Fizz is going to have the extra pressure on him. Fizz usually pretty well against melee range champ.
Yeah, and also Fizz does have the combat advantage of that Ignite teleport, but he will be more susceptible to ganks. Now it looks like exactly what I
right
said.
Past the ward.
Yep. So they are going for the invade. Just saying hi and hello to Mr. Blue Buff, but nothing too heavy going on. It looks like SkyHi's pinging Spooky Midnight's top side of the jungle, and perhaps they might do a counter jungle with them for their own.
Possibly. Fizz would have a pretty powerful leash with the damage over time if he takes the W first. So that could be a pretty quick clear for Echo setting behind.
Yeah, so I was expecting I was actually expecting Lee Sin and Gragas to try and do the double jungle. I know it's become more prevalent in pro play, and also in solo queue you see it a lot more, where the top laner and jungler will do, Gromp or Krug together, and also do the first red or blue buff together. The top laner will tank it for the jungler, and then base and then teleport back top lane, so that they share the experience, and the jungler doesn't take any damage.
Yeah, and it gives him a stronger clear. He can have more effect on that early game as well, with the extra health you get from the lane. Sorry, from the laner's help. And
yeah, but
Echo's
it looks like all we saw was yeah, you saw that they started Krugs, and Lee Sin actually kind of leashed them for the Krugs, so bot lane will have a level advantage over Mordekaiser and Braum because they did not take any sort of jungle camp. And Lee Sin actually starts red.
Yeah, it's crucial to have them start that camp there so they don't get completely behind on Mordekaiser. It just is, well, I have to say, an unfair laning advantage. Ooh, Winter's Bite hits Vayne, and he's a sniper right now. Double play from Thresh, but he's got 2 more procs till he's stunned. There's the stun. He's going low. Oh, he throws the hook, but we shift up to top lane to see a little bit of trade going on in there. And there we go. Mordekaiser Braum, double Targons, healing it up.
I mean, that just kind of shows you exactly what we were talking about. Despite Spooky Midnight's bot lane having the level advantage, they were still able to out-trade the Vayne and Thresh because of Winter's Bite and Mordekaiser. I mean, that was just almost textbook. There's no outplaying that.
Oh, Fizz is going ham on Gragas right now in the QW 1-2 combo and putting him pretty low, as you can see why he wanted to start that flask.
Alright, looks like we have Mordekaiser and Braum shoving it up down in the bot lane. Not too much going on, not too much action as I thought there would be. It looks like Lee Sin is backing in the top side of the jungle, and Echo staying a little bit more healthy. He's clearing out the Scuttle Crab, Mr. Krabs, for a little bit more vision. That's about it.
Yeah, you gotta keep his bot lane safe since they're playing so aggressive right now. And that's pretty much what you need to do on the Braum Mordekaiser combo. You can't just sit back with those guys. You gotta make an impact. Echo's coming around mid right now, possibly, waiting in the side brush for an opportunity. And Lee Sin's on the Raptors. He's probably gonna be a little bit late. Echo's coming in behind. He throws down the parallel convergence. First blood goes over to Fizz in top lane. Azir's got this ignite on him, but he just flashes out. And Fizz, with a nice little play, gets back out of turret range before he gets taken down.
Yeah, up in top lane, it looks like Fizz went for the tower dive with that combat advantage on Ignite. Gragas actually flashed the damage from Playful Trickster, but Fizz was able to follow it up and just turret dive and get out of there safe and sound. So he's going to recall and build the components for a Sheen, go back to lane feeling better than ever.
And we see Lee Sin doing the, what do you call it, east side invade, because he knows Echo just ganked and went up to the north side of the map. So
yeah, so it's going to be dangerous. Azir has no more summoners versus the Zed, and both of them will be able to stay relatively safe. Azir does have his E to get away, and Zed has his W, but it's still dangerous. Once they hit 6, Zed does have the advantage.
Right, we got Gragas putting a pink ward down to make sure he stays extra safe and to allow for, well, some more ganks topside, hopefully, because he's falling a little bit behind. Oh, Death Sentence lands onto Mordekaiser. He takes it in with the Dark Passage for Lee Sin to get there on time. The Condemn knocks Mordekaiser to safety, unfortunately, though. For Spooky Midnight, they just get a little bit of lane pressure and no kill.
Well, that was almost really well done. She got the angle slightly wrong, but that was almost perfect. Lee Sin W'd straight onto Thresh, and they were able to almost combo Mordekaiser to death. But they did, like you said, they have lane presence now. You know, they have pressure. They aren't shoved into turret anymore. And so ganks like this aren't necessarily a failure. It's a nice alleviation of pressure. The only danger now is that Echo does have both of his summoners.
Yes, and it lands onto Braum, flays him back. 2 procs down. But then Mordekaiser and Braum just tank squad going in hard on Vayne right now. Winter's Bite hits. There's 3 stacks on Thresh, 3 on Vayne.
There's the 4th.
Oh, there's the stun onto Vayne. A beautiful play, but Echo's here to save the day, and he picks up the kill for SkyHi, getting first blood. Or second blood, excuse me. I forgot how it happened top lane. Got a little ahead of myself there. But Lee Sin comes in just a few seconds too late.
Yeah, Echo got that nice W parallel convergence on both members, and they were just able to chain CC them. Braum got the stun off of Vayne, basically off his own accord. All Mordekaiser had to use was heal to speed him up, and just like that, SkyHi has the lane advantage again.
Yeah, right now, Vayne, up until that gank, Vayne was out farming Mordekaiser, but now he's got the lead on that as well as the kills. Mid lane, Zed got a little bit extra gold for clearing out that pink ward around the top side red bush.
Yeah, so now's about a good time to kind of compare, see each lane and how they're doing in CS. Top lane is relatively the same. Fizz is slightly behind by 3 CS. The same deal is going on with mid. The only noticeable difference is Lee Sin is behind 6 CS in the jungle. But other than that, they're relatively the same.
And Lee Sin also picked up the kill. So if you look
That's
at
true.
the gold between Echo and Lee, Lee's actually ahead. And we got a gank going down top lane right now. Echo lands in a beautiful disengaged barrel from Gragas, but the fish is out and he catches him. Earth the Manatee says something to say about it. Is Gragas going to make it to the wall? He body slams over. Echo can't reach it either. So they get a pink ward for their troubles and an ultimate.
Alright, so he escapes, no harm, no foul. He's just going to come back to lane. And we're going to see now what Gragas is starting to build towards. Alright, looks like he picks up the Catalyst.
Yeah, probably going to be Righteous Glory. Or, I mean, he could do Rod of the Ages.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just not sure. The other build path I'm going to be looking out for is what this Mordekaiser is going to build. I've seen Mordekaisers still go AP, and I've also seen them go AD. I've also seen them build pretty much whatever they want and still do damage, honestly.
Yeah, right now he's got the Phage. I'm thinking probably a Black Cleaver. Having that extra movement speed, stacking up. Ooh, nice dodge on the Winter's Bite, but teleport comes and Fish is here. Beautiful condemned by Vayne, stops Fizz in his tracks, but that's a slippery fish and he hops back into the fight after a nice ultimate from Braum keeps him still. Lee Sin's looking around Dragon, but Echo and Zed is a scary thing to dive into when you're that low health.
Yeah, immediately once that happens, they start up the Dragon. Lee Sin's very good at smiting Dragon away from the enemy team, but that's 5 people in the Dragon pit. He does not want to jump into that.
Yeah, right now Spooky Midnight has no way to contest it. They should have been trying to push a cross-map objective. You got Gragas farming up top, but since he was pushed into the turret, the teleport from enemy on the side of SkyHi was perfectly timed in all senses.
Well, and now we see the Dragon come into play for Mordekaiser, which we touched on a little bit. Look at how much HP it has. It is 2,300 HP 9 minutes into the game, and its attack damage is not too shabby either.
That is absolutely double anyone else's health currently. Except for Mordekaiser, because, yeah.
Yeah, it's just doing work on this turret.
Easy turret. There's no way, even if that turret initiated on the Dragon, that they would have been able to defend that. That is a ridiculous early game advantage. And the parallel convergence stuns up Vayne. Time Winder's down, 3 stacks. Number 4 for Braum. Cat the Cougar picks up the kill. And right now, Vayne is starting to fall behind. That is not looking good for their late game.
Yeah, this is exactly what we predicted was what was going to go on. All it takes is Mordekaiser getting that Dragon, and he becomes a turret shoving machine. Honestly, it looks like they're going to rotate up into mid to put some pressure on the Azir.
Yeah, Nazir's got to know this was coming. They just cleared out the ward, so he slowly's walking off to the side. Nice sidestep on the Shuriken throw. And although Lee Sin couldn't see him over that wall there, he could sense him.
Alright, looks like Gragas is getting shoved up. Now, Gragas does have the teleport advantage now that Fizz doesn't. I was expecting to see a little bit more action with Snow Summoner Fizz, honestly, but it looks like he's starting to get snowballed. He's backing with 62 CS. He completes the Sheen and gets a Phage, so it looks like he's going for a Triforce as well.
Yeah, on-hit Fizz with on-hit Echo. Those are going to be 2 tanky guys, high mobility. They're going to be hard to kill, and they're going to do a lot of damage. Looking pretty solid for SkyHi right now. And that teleport by enemy was absolutely beautiful. There was a turret on the table, there was Dragon on the table, there were kills on the table, and they took all. Winner takes all.
Yeah, it was a nice ward in the bottom brush and the Fog of War, so it looks like Blease is doing a pretty good job of warding. Now, on the other side of Spooky Midnight, they're keeping up their wards fairly well, too. They have deep wards in the enemy jungle, and they also have nice river wards on the top side near Baron. So both teams are warding pretty well, and it looks like
Echo's coming up top, parallel convergence is down, but Gragas jukes him backwards with the body slam, throws the explosive cask out as Earth hits, but that's a lot of damage, and Fizz is going to be able to catch up. Who's going to take the kill, Echo or Fizz? Giving it over to Fizz. Enemy coming up 3-0.
Alright, and it actually looks like Mordekaiser's going for this Triforce instead of Black Cleaver as well. And we actually have a 3-man push going on top. They're trying to get a couple of turrets. They have a 1-turret advantage right now, and they're just looking to, you know, kind of snowball that lead that they have right now and get some global gold.
Yeah, with that global gold, they are now up to about 3,000. That's a pretty significant amount coming in at just 12 minutes into the game. And like Vayne dodges into the Winter's Fight, but a nice dark passage takes her to safety, and Braum stands beside Mordekaiser and gets out of the way of Death's Sentence. Ooh, beautiful condemn onto Braum, but
engage.
the exhaust is down on Vayne. Here's a Telly coming in behind Gragas using that advantage. Lee Sin with a nice little insect play, puts Mordekaiser into the wall, and they're cleaning up house right now. There is no response from SkyHi, and Spooky Midnight, just like that, turns the tides in their favor. Hopefully they can translate that to a turret. Oh, mid lane, Zed going deep. Did you catch that?
Yeah, it looks like he ulted him underneath the tower. Actually dodged the Azir ult by returning back to it, it looks like.
But look
he
at
wasn't
Fizz
able to finish
topping.
it up, but got him low.
Sorry for interrupting you, but Fizz is getting a massive split push on, and Echo right now completely zoned him off that turret.
Yeah, so it looks like the response from SkyHi is, hey, you want to kill 2 of our members? Why don't we take another turret for you? So they're trying to apply the global pressure in sacrificing some of their team members.
Yeah, that was a really good placement by Cat the Cougar there to know he should be going to help clear out that turret to guarantee they can't take it, and like that, Alcantos takes the turret in mid lane.
Yeah, and so what Kuro's going to try and do right here, it looks like Zed is pretty heavily chunked. Kuro's going to throw up the Azir turret, the passive, and he's going to try and shove, and actually he's all in
nice flash by Alcantos to dodge the damage. Oh, but Kuro flashes in, but it's not far enough away, and here's Braum. Are they going to give it to Echo, or is Braum just going to take it, support style?
There we go, getting the support nice and fed.
That shield smash.
Alright, yeah, it actually looks like Gragas did go Righteous Glory, like you were kind of thinking. So he's not going for the damage route. He's going for, hey, let's get in their face and engage on them before they can engage on us. Because regardless of how the match is going, SkyHi still has an engage-heavy team.
Yeah, so if they're able to get the jump on them. Oh, the fish is down onto Gragas yet again. You see the fish come out, the explosive cask is short to follow, but Fizz's hyper-mobility is going to allow him to chase Gragas down. Oh, he turns with the body slam. And that was a really nice barrel. He put it down in his escape route, so when Fizz charged in for the Q, or Urchin Strike? Yeah, to chase after him, it was just right there.
Yeah, honestly, I think Midnight may have been able to take that fight. But he does chunk Fizz down a little bit, so he's going to have to recall. Regardless of that, he might be looking for
Echo's sitting on a ward.
TP play.
He's just going ham onto Thresh right now. Here's Vayne. The resonating strike is down, but no follow-up from the other members. Mordekaiser's just happily tanking the dragon. He's a carry, but he's kind of tanky as well. Not too concerned with him.
Yeah, and there's the TPN by enemy to group up as 5 once again for this dragon. The only low member's Echo, and looks like
Thresh is a little bit off to the backside, but Gragas is going down. They're catching Braum. Fizz still has a lot of health. Oh my gosh, the frozen path is down. Oh, the flash dart, or death sentence, and it misses. Oh, Lee Sin kicks through 3 people. Echo rewinds time and smashes down with his ultimate, but it's not enough damage. Azir's wall is out. It's zoning off the fight, but Zed's still doing damage from outside of it, and he comes back in on the living shadow to stop them from living. Death sentence goes wide, and Fizz is going to be able to clean up Azir here, I believe. Echo's sitting there on Thresh. Everyone's low, but that's just one support. Oh, he lanterns Azir over, and they turn around and get the kill on Zed, but Azir's not going to last too long, and that's an ace for SkyHi.
Yeah, and it just wasn't enough. SkyHi played that really well. They split up. Zed threw his shadow onto 3 people, got the AoE shadow slash onto everyone, including Vayne, and then just popped over the wall to finish her off. It was quite well done. And Mordekaiser got the Lee Sin Ghost as well, and he might be able to pick up the dragon wing. There we are.
Ooh, they're going pretty low there, but another dragon secured. Literally, for SkyHi.
So in order to get back into the game, what does Spooky Midnight have to do from here?
They've got to wave clear, they've got to play it safe, and they've got to stop giving up so many things at once. And I know on paper that sounds good, but in practice that's not really going to happen that way. You have to be able to concede certain objectives, or just give up a kill or 2 to keep that objective. But they're giving up kills and they're giving up objectives, and that's putting them exponentially farther behind.
Yeah, and SkyHi doesn't have that good of siege. The only real sieging potential they have is Mordekaiser's pet dragon. Outside of that, they have no long-range poke. They don't have any sort of long-range damage to the turrets. One of the downsides to taking Mordekaiser as an AD carry is you do lose sieging potential. You no longer have a DPS carry that is able to siege from a long range.
Oh, Fizz might be getting caught out here, but he Playful Tricksters away. Shurima Shuffle goes down, and the fish is just sitting outside of the fight with nothing to do. And that's an easy cleanup. The kill goes over to Zark on Lee Sin. Brahm's running away, tail tucked behind his legs.
There's the flash.
Ooh, a nice little insect there. He flashes behind him and kicks him down right into a body slam play, but Brahm is quick on his feet, flashes over the wall, and jumps to his ally Echo, who's waiting to get him to safety.
And are they out? Okay, it looks like they're out. Okay, so that's not too bad. It looks like that's a 1 for 0 for the side.
Oh, Mordekaiser might get him over the
Okay.
wall. He flashes in for the damage, but an instant condemn takes him down. Oh, Azir goes down, and now he's got the extra ghost to help fight, but that's Vayne cleaning up the fight. Harper picking up an extra kill right now. Sark again, but the split push for Acanthos taking down bottom turret while this is happening. And here's a teleport.
Yeah, again, they sacrifice a 1 for 2, which honestly isn't too bad. While he didn't get the turret, he did get it to about a quarter health. So all in all, while it did go in the favor of Spooky Midnight, I do see what SkyHi is trying to do, and they are trying to take advantage of the split push. That is their main advantage. Because as we covered, they don't really have siege potential, so they will try again to split push with 4v5.
And they're totally okay with giving up a kill or two. As you can see, Spooky Midnight is not even able to take an objective off the back foot of these fights, whereas SkyHi is applying that cross-map pressure on the objectives.
Yeah, and an important thing to note right now is Vayne is sitting on... Oh wow, she's actually going Yamu's second. Okay, she has a Blade of the Ruined King. That puts her total gold at 5,700, whereas Mordekaiser is sitting on a hefty 6,800. That's around 1,100 to 1,200 gold advantage, and that's nearly half an item. That's pretty significant when you think about the kind of carry that Mordekaiser is.
And SkyHi is absolutely going to have to rely on this split push kind of strategy. Fizz, Zed, and Echo are all excellent dueling champions, excuse me. They love to fight people one-on-one, and their kits enable them to come out on top of those one-on-one fights.
Yeah, so they do have excellent 1v1 potential. Another thing we haven't quite talked about is around 15 to 18 minute... Oh, looks like he
Playful Trickster's right over Death's Sentence, but that's going to be a flay backwards, and he drops the fish, but to no avail. Easy cleanup kill for the team, 4v1.
Okay, so he's fed, but not quite 1v4 fed.
And look at Zed, right again, bottom lane. They see Gragas top. The 4 others were distracted by enemy, and Alcanthos down there, keeping up the pressure. And no one's even responding yet, really.
Yeah, so Blue's trying to group, and Zed goes straight back to that bot lane, trying to pick it up really quick. Zed is able to almost push as fast as these 4 characters. Now, Azir is very good at taking down turrets, but here goes Echo.
Oh, here comes a flank from Echo. The 3-man parallel convergence plus Time Winder. Braum drops his ulti right on top of it. That Glacial Fissure was huge, but the wall from Shurima is keeping him back. Zed might have a solo kill down bottom lane. Yes, he picks it up. Goes down for the turret dive, and Echo's coming in. Oh, he flashes right onto Vayne, but instantly gets turned on by Lee Sin. Unfortunately, Death Sentence doesn't land and is able to slide right back out.
Style points for Zed. He flash bladed the Ruined King to Gragas for the kill. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and then right now, SkyHi taking objectives off the back foot of the fight. What Spooky Midnight needed to be doing this entire time, but just wasn't able to do because of that early advantage that SkyHi brought.
Yeah, once one of the members of Spooky Midnight goes down, SkyHi does have a 4v5 advantage, and they're able to just wreck turrets with those 2 Triforces that Fizz and Mordekaiser are stacking. It does 200% of your base attack damage, and that's just
Vayne going in for the solo kill, but she attacks a ward on accident. She flashes in, tries to get the triple proc, but that Unbreakable Shield is absolutely saving his life. A nice condemn onto Zed, but he just goes right back to the Living Shadow and is, well, helping pick up kills for Fleece.
Yeah, so right there we see the kind of limitations of the auto attack move there, and also the benefit of picking Braum for this kind of team, especially when paired with Mordekaiser. Looks like we have a top lane tussle, and Gragas has to explosive cask the Fizz away, kind of disengage, and just walk away A-okay.
Oh, Fizz looked like he was about to go aggressive there, but thought better of it because they don't know where the other members of the team are. One thing SkyHi isn't doing is warding up their split pushers lane, or their split pushers side of the map.
That's true. We did just see Azir try and take out 3 wards in the same spot. So while they did have a fair number of wards on the map, they were all concentrated on one brush pretty much. And looks like, oh, they weren't able to clear it, but there's the ward down.
Oh, there's the pink ward down, and Dragon started by SkyHi. Let's see if Spooky Midnight can contest if they even want to. Gragas is way over by Baron Pit, and their other carries are nowhere near it. This could be a dangerous time to try and steal it from... Oh, Echo picks it up. Is he able to even click on the Dark Passage? You can't. There's so much happening. 6 different things blocking the way. I don't even think the mouse is skinny enough to fit in between there.
Yeah, they kind of dogpiled right onto him. Lee Sin tried to go for the steal and then give the Dark Passage out, but unfortunately he just wasn't able to click on it. And that's the 3rd dragon for SkyHi.
And gives him that probable Baron.
Yeah, the
SkyHi is starting it up. They've got Dragon helping fight Baron. 2 things we've always wanted to see fight, but up until now it wasn't able to happen. Rito making dreams come true one at a time.
Oh,
alright, Gragas is getting out of there.
Alright, so they get Dragon, they get Baron, they have pretty much everything. The only time I've seen Dragon fight Baron is that old bug back in Season 1 when you were able to drag Baron around wherever you wanted.
Wait, what? That happened? That was a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Was it like Syndra?
Oh, I can't remember. I think I saw it with Poppy or something like that. I think she used her E and knocked Baron out of its own pit. I'll have to go back and watch it. But he was movable at one point.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think there was a Syndra bug way back when where you could move Baron as well with your W.
Okay, I just assumed it was her because she could always grab the buffs and neutral stuff. Alright,
yeah, I mean, maybe someday. I mean, you know, Riot's making all these big changes to Darius, Skarner, you know, making Summoner's Rift into Dominion, so who knows what we'll see next.
We won't have an all-random Summoner's Rift game type, right?
Oh yeah, ranked and everything.
Okay, well, back to the game. Right now, we've got a pretty sizable gold lead for SkyHi. 9,000 gold right now. Spooky Midnights has their work cut out for them to try and catch back up. 24 minutes into the game, that type of lead is pretty hard to mess up, even if you do start throwing a little bit. And we're seeing the Baron minion siege right now on top side. That's probably a turret going down. Like you said earlier, those Trinity forces doing the work.
Yeah, so we see stacking Trinity, stacking Blade of the Ruined Kings. We see a lot of on-hit damage coming out from SkyHi, and they're just able to melt the turrets. They've kind of overcome... Oh, actually, no, Fizz is in the bot lane split pushing. He gets a turret. Now Zed gets
there's a hook on his Zed run under the turret. He puts the box down. Instant ult to try to get out of there, but the explosive cast keeps him in range of the turret. And that's a beautiful condemn onto Braum, but can Vayne chase it out? Harper Lee pops the ultimate. It's Midnight's Hour, and I think Vayne's going to come out on top. Evil has been pushed down. This might be a double right here. Yes, it is. Fizz is able to take down the inhibitor and push that wave into the bottom Nexus turret, but at the cost of 3 members.
Yeah, and looks like Spooky Midnight's going to answer with the 3 kills, a turret, and possibly even a second one. They're pushing against Baroned up minion, but they still might have enough, although looks like they're kind of getting thirsty for an engage. Okay, no, Descent just misses.
Descent is right onto the minion. He did not want that guy to live. What did that minion ever do?
A wife and kids. Have you ever thought about how many minions have been slaughtered throughout all the games of League of Legends?
Moment of silence for all the minions.
What is it? Press F to pay respects?
That's scummy, man. That's scummy. Almost flashed there.
Press F to flash plus do the dance. So, oh, Gragas is fighting off his a little bit.
And you're gonna have to take over that because my client's frozen.
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, you're not missing out on too much. It looks like SkyHi is pressuring 3 lanes once again. Or actually 2 right now. Fizz and Gragas are matching up in the top lane again. Spooky Midnight's inhibitor is down still in the bot lane. So it looks like they're trying to go for a 4-1 lane. So they're pressuring 4 mid lane, keeping 1 top lane, and then letting the inhibitor siege minions bot lane kind of push in. So they are pressuring Spooky Midnight in 3 different lanes at the same time.
Okay, it's good now. Thanks for covering, bro.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Azir's just going to throw up his turret for a little bit more little bit more protection, and we're just gonna see a stall out here, a little dance, a Baron dance in mid lane.
And you said he threw up that turret. That sounded kind of painful. That's not something I ever want to experience. Alright, we got supers in the bottom side, which is why they're doing this 1-4 kind of pressure, keeping every single lane in their advantage. Spooky Midnight cannot be everywhere at once in the map, and this Azir's turret, Legacy of Shurima, is not going to last too long. Gragas still trying to debate of whether he wants to keep pushing that or go recall, but they've sent Harper Lee to go clear it out, but putting your AD carry solo bot lane against these duelists is kind of a risky situation.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Kuro gave up the, well, in fact, his whole team, they actually gave up the Legacy of Shurima pretty easily. He, like you said, he threw it up painfully, but they did give it up quite easily. I felt like they could have defended that.
Now I know Thresh collects souls. He keeps throwing his hook right at Echo's little time winder thingy. Time winder, the little ghost thing that's falling around, and he has yet to hit it.
Yeah, normally what you want to do on Thresh is once you hit this point, he actually does not have any mana regen, so he will have to base quite often. But at this point, as Thresh, you no longer really want to look for engages. Once you're pushed into your turrets, your base turrets, you want to look for outplays on when they dive you. Maybe hook the Zed when he goes in for ult or the like that. He did opt for the exhaust, so you can basically neutralize one assassin completely during a dive. So he's going to play a little bit further back during these fights instead of trying to look for an engage.
Alright, and this could be Dragon number 4 going over to SkyHi. Can Spook Midnight secure their first one, or are they going to opt for the huge team fight? If they want to fight, they need to do it before Dragon's down, because that's an extra member. The Death Sentence lands onto Echo. The jungler's taking a lot of damage, but a beautiful knockup from Braum with the shield out in the front line. Zeds goes right back. Questionable why he went for the support, but as of right now, they're able to clean up the Dragon on the other side of the fight. It's resetting! It's resetting, and Lee Sin gets the smite down from it! Oh my god, they stopped the 4th Dragon, and they come up with a 2-for-1.
Yeah, Harper Lee was left completely untouched in that fight. If you look back, both Mordekaiser and Zed put their ults on.
Oh, and there's a sandwich, and Lee Sin is
God.
the meat in between the buns of victory. Sorry.
That was beautiful. I'm just going to give a moment of silence so we can all appreciate that. My point wasn't even that interesting compared to that. But no, I was going to say that Mordekaiser and Zed both put their ults on Thresh. So they got the Thresh Ghost. I mean, pop the support, but focus the support GG worth, I guess.
I mean, questionable, but they've got such map pressure right now with the supers down bottom and the naked inhibitor top lane, so I mean, I guess SkyHi can kind of do what they want with the 7k gold lead, but they gotta watch out because Azir and Vayne will start scaling.
Yeah, Kuro is getting to that point. I mean, if you saw during that fight, he patiently waited to use his wall. He wasn't getting dove either. So both him and Harper Lee stayed relatively safe throughout that fight. It looks like SkyHi was trying to go and focus the front line first and then try and clean up after that. But Vayne has hit a pretty hard power spike. She has completed 2 items and she's looking to finish up that last Whisper at 30 minutes.
The Youmuu's, I actually really like that pickup here. Oh, Lee Sin going down on Zed, but he's just going to Living Shadow away. So, the Youmuu's, I like it on Vayne, because she's going to have a very short window to make it count. And Youmuu maximizes her ability to do that in the short amount of time.
Yeah, it's also really good. It is a slight bit of armor pen. If I recall, it's one of the most gold efficient items that you can pick up as an AD carry because it gives you flat 20 armor pen. It gives you flat 20 armor pen, a little bit of attack speed, I think about 40%, but who cares about stats? They're starting a Baron again.
Yeah, and they've got the damage in the tank to just sit here and duke it out. Zed's trying to solo out Gragas right now, but Gragas isn't the jungler. They need to get Lee Sin or give up on the Baron. And teleport's coming in from enemy. He might be a little bit late. His team is in shambles right now, but a beautiful 4-man parallel convergence. Vayne's on the backside, not really free hitting. She's going low, but able to get the outplay onto Echo, and by outplay I mean stay alive for a few more seconds till enemy takes her out on Fizz. Gower's the only one left next to Lee Sin, and he cannot stop Zed's pain train right now. Oh, she gets the hook slowly. And Living Shadow? Is it enough? There's the auto.
Yeah, so there we saw the most noticeable thing I saw during that fight was that Zera only ulted one person. He kept Braum within the Baron pit tanking Baron the entire time, but that's about the only person he ulted. It looks like SkyHi was kind of able to make its way with everybody else during that fight.
Yeah, and Lee Sin trying to keep Fizz off the inhibitor, but can't really stop him. Zed going for the bottom inhibitor. The only thing they're missing is the mid one. Oh, no, Lee Sin's able to scare him off because Gragas is here to give the support.
Oh,
he
no.
fails the Living Shadow over the wall, or maybe it was just a juke in the first place because Lee Sin goes over with the ward, but Harper Lee right there to clean up afterwards on Vayne.
Yeah, so looks like a little bit of a mechanical mistake, but honestly, it's not going to cost them too much. It looks like they're pinging for Baron, though. How do you feel about that? Do you think they'll be able to take it?
I think if they're going to do it, they need to start it now because Mordekaiser's in base, although I don't think they're privy to that information right now.
Yeah, he's home guarding in. Alright, it looks like they're going to
They
try
still
and start
have
it
the
up.
numbers advantage, and if they're able to make a pick, it could work out really well, but Lee Sin is a little bit low to the third
I'm not
health.
too sure about this.
And they're going for Baron. The Echo's flanking on the side. Lee Sin is almost dead. Here comes Fizz. That's an easy pickup for him. The wall of Shreema output a little bit late, but they're able to fight on the other side, funneling the team through the Sand Soldiers. But those guys are so damn tanky, they're just going to keep running at your face. Gragas with a nice barrel into the wall gets 4, but that's not enough to stop SkyHi. They're going ham, and there's only one member left for Spooky Midnight. With the one inhib down top lane, they might be able to make that into the game.
Yeah, Midnight and Kuro, they both missed their ults. Oh, looks like Zed's ulting on a Gragas.
Death mark down. He's got the Bork popped. He throws the Q. It's not enough damage, so he drops the Ignite and continues turret diving. And is Zed going to make it out? Yeah.
Yeah, he just tanks the turret and rejoins his team, and that was just a really well played fight. Oh, Lee Sin's coming in.
Oh, Lee Sin gets a nice 4-man kick, but it's only enough to stall. Echo's going to chase him down for the swag kill, but I think the Nexus is going to go down significantly quicker.
Yeah, that last fight was all it took for SkyHi to secure that win. I mean, it kind of, when it rains, it pours. They set up, Spooky Midnight set up around the Baron pit and tanked it a little bit too often, and Fizz was able to just one-shot the Lee Sin before the fight even started.
Yeah, SkyHi taking victory #1 in the best-of-3 series off of a lot of early game pressure. Let's see if Spooky Midnight can come up with a way to stall them out if they go with the same team comp again.
Yeah,
we'll be right back with y'all. Welcome back, House Party 5v5 Premier League. We've got Spooky Midnight and SkyHi facing off for Game 2. SkyHi took Game 1, and right now we're in the pick and ban phase. We got Alistair and Graves on the table. Off the table.
Yeah, so it looks like we're sticking with around the same bands as last time. Actually, yeah, Alistair, Graves, Diana are the same. Looks like Fizz will be taken away from, I believe it was Enemy on it last game, so he's not going to be able to play the Slippery Little Fish this game.
Yeah, he did do pretty hard work on that. And Azir taken off the table. Kuro won't be able to play it, but they also banned it against themselves.
Yeah, it seems a little bit odd. Kuro was the Azir player last game, and he did pretty good work last game. I don't think he was one of the weak links in that last game.
Yeah, I think that's a Gnar pickup for Midnight Leaf there. So, Gnar has a great potential to make team fights extremely in your favor. He's got the AoE, well, Gnar, and that it's so awesome to watch when a good one of those hits. It's like 3, 4, 5 people getting slammed up into the wall and stunned. And we have another Echo for the jungle. I'm assuming it's jungle.
Yeah, most likely. I think we'll see them in jungle.
And I really like Lulu. She brings a lot of utility to the team. If she does get ahead and you're running her mid lane, she can do a pretty good amount of damage. And just the shields, the heal, the knock-up, it's just so much utility your team can play around.
Yeah, I already love how the team fights will be shaping up for this one. We have the Gnar, I mean, like you said, Gnar. We have the Lulu polymorph, and we also have the knockup from her, as well as the Echo stun. So we're going to be seeing a lot of CC in this game.
Ooh, Tristana Janna. If they do lock that in, that is an extremely powerful bot lane. Very safe to Rocket Jump, Monsoon, and Howling Gale. So much displacement. Oh, and Tristana's the Buster Shot's displacement as well. And they scale pretty solidly. Janna, not so much on the scaling personally, but her heals are always relevant.
There it is again. Yes, the Mordekaiser slipped through pick and ban, or ban phase, actually. I don't know why they let it through again. He was just a monster last game.
Maybe they think they've got the answer with Janna Tristana here. They literally blind picked their bottom lane. So they must either be really confident on those champions, or they kind of figured that Braum and Mordekaiser would be the opponents.
Yeah, but other than that, it looks like SkyHi is sticking with 3 out of the 4 of the same champions they played last. They stuck with Echo, Braum, and Mordekaiser, so looks like some not necessarily comfort picks coming out, but definitely synergistic champions together. Whereas it looks like Spooky Midnight is kind of changing up their roster. You know, maybe they were expecting Mordekaiser and pick Tristana to help with the wave clear and maybe push a little bit better versus it.
Yeah, and Elise and Twisted Bait work well hand in hand because they create this pick combo. 1 gold card lands or 1 cocoon lands, and you guarantee the other one to hit. So they're going to be working around that early game, getting some quick rotations, probably a Destiny Gate into bottom top lane, wherever, to make a surprise attack. And they're probably going to want to snowball Tristana off this because she is their main late game.
Yeah, so last game we saw Harper Lee play Vayne, and she didn't do too badly, but unfortunately the team was just anti-Vayne that game. So she's going to shake it up, play a little same kind of style of hyper carry, but at the same time, not necessarily as vulnerable. She has the Buster Shot to push away, and also the Rocket Jump to get away. So she has a lot of, you know, escapes, a lot of ways to stay safe. She's also a great turret pusher, especially with the Janna extra AD on the shield.
Yeah, and their bottom lane will be able to trade really well with the shield and the explosive shot. And I love seeing Olaf locked in here. So it's gonna be Lulu mid, but the Olaf Lulu combo is disgusting. You make him go super fast with his Ghost, all his undertow is slowing everyone else, and he's immune from his ult. And maybe add in a wild growth on top of that to slow everyone around him. He just becomes this monster of a train wreck that's going through your team.
Yeah, so the biggest changes we see so far is that it looks like instead of going Fizz because it was banned, he's going Olaf this time. They're both fairly dive-heavy champions, whereas you mentioned arguably Olaf is a little bit hard to peel off because of the undertow slow, and also because his ult makes him, you know, can't be slowed, can't be anything really. The biggest change is it looks like Alcantos will be going on a more supportive Lulu mid instead of last game where he went Zed and looked to assassinate the Vayne and Azir from last game. Besides that, it looks like Spooky Midnight, I think we touched upon it briefly, it looks like Twisted Fate or Kuro, he'll be able to kind of visit the other lane's top and bot a little bit more with his Destiny Gate, instead of last game where he was kind of assigned to be the wave clear of the team on Azir.
And Twisted Fate can also do a pretty solid wave clear. You red card the second melee minion and throw the Q right down the middle of them.
Yep.
And once you get the item, and if you're even or ahead, it's wave clear. So he's going to be able to control the lane a lot. But on the other side, Alcantos on Lulu is going to have a decent amount of wave clear. Glitter Lance does the same thing essentially. If you put the E on one of the minions, you can reach the entire straight line of the wave.
Yeah, the only bad part about the Lulu pick is she does take longer to wave clear. It does take her 2 Glitter Lances because her E is not, AoE or anything like that. So it will take her 2 uses of the Qs, and perhaps, depending on her AP at the time, it will take her a couple auto attacks as well to clear, whereas, as you said, TF is able to just throw a red card and Q the entire wave. So he'll have the reactive advantage. And also, Gnar and Jenna, they both have pretty good, not so much in the bot lane, but definitely Gnar. He has great setup for a gank, especially if Elise shows up around the same time.
Absolutely, and there's a little bit of anti-synergy on Spooky Midnight with Janna's ult and Gnar's ult. They're about repositioning, but they do essentially, they do the same function, but it could have the potential to mess one of the other ones up. But I assume these guys have practiced, they know what they're doing, and Janna is excellent for healing when you have a pretty immobile mid laner and a hyper carry in the.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to see anything, it looks like I expect Olaf to kind of just Ragnarok into the other team and just charge straight at Twisted Fate. He's going to be immune to any sort of the gold card or anything that Twisted Fate throws at him. And he's definitely the more immobile and harder to reposition of all the carries for Spooky Midnight.
Yeah, and also Monsoon will go right through him while he's doing that.
That's true.
And you've got to factor in Mordekaiser and Echo being on their face simultaneous, but possibly Braum too. Alright, and we're about to load onto the Rift in a few seconds here. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be right back with y'all in Game 2. And we're back on the Rift. Spooky Midnight on the blue side, SkyHi on the red side. I'm Thunderdome, and today we've got Lackluster.
Hey, welcome back, guys. We're here for the Game 2 between Spooky Midnight and SkyHi. Looks like they both chose to kind of stay on the same side, so we're going to see Spooky Midnight staying on the blue side, and also SkyHi on the top side retaining some of the same traits as their last team composition.
They love these full-on dive, get in your face, a lot of people, a lot of chaos, and they're hard to take down. Oh, Janna might get caught out here. Braum gets the auto on her. That's 2, 3, 4 stacks, easy Glitter Lance. Oh, and Mechanerd gets the kill, starting the snowball early. This Olaf could get out of control pretty quickly.
And it's great that it goes on to Olaf compared to everyone else. Mordekaiser and Braum already dominate the bottom lane without an advantage. Olaf versus Gnar is definitely a hard matchup early levels for Olaf, just because of the fact that he is melee and has a hard time gap closing versus the Gnar if he misses his undertow. To compensate for that kind of melee versus ranged disadvantage, Olaf might be starting, yeah, it looks like he'll be starting Raptors and try and get that quick level 2 and teleport top.
Yeah, it's such a smart advantage. It lets you have an easier laning phase because you come up on top of the experience game, and you're even in gold once you get back to the lane after it, and you don't have to deal with all the extra harass you would have taken early on level 1.
Yeah, and that's not to mention the fact he got experience from that first blood as well. So he's going to be coming back with possibly, I'm not sure, he might go for a longsword or he might go for a real power spike and just try and buy a Doran's item as well.
Yeah, on OF he has so many ways he can itemize, especially with the new items like Dead Man's Plate.
Yeah, I don't expect Olaf to build anything crazy like a Stair Axe. That's usually kind of reserved for champions that build Triforce, because it does increase the damage of Triforce by, I think, 25%. I'll have to check on that again.
That's obscene. Oh my
God.
God.
It's ridiculous. It does 225% of your base AD instead of, you know, the regular 200%. He does recall and does get a longsword and a couple of consumables. So I think we'll be seeing maybe a Black Cleaver out of him first item. Whereas I expect to see Gnar build something slightly more defensive, maybe a Sunfire Cape as he's starting cloth armor or something of the likes like that.
Yeah, that'd be a smart idea. The Black Cleaver gives him so much movement speed and damage as well. Plus, he's got true damage. Oh, Lulu going all in right now on Kuro. Alcanthos using her auto attacks for the huge early damage. And that true damage on Olaf is huge as well. He's got the undertow and Ghost on. He's chasing. Already burned the flash. Midnight Leaf might take the kill, or get killed. And Mechanerd picking it up with the true damage. He's already 2-1. Alcanthos has got the Ignite down. There's a gold card, but he's still on auto attack range. Nice kill pick up there. Unfortunately for Kuro, he's going to be a little bit far behind, and that's not where you want to be on Twisted Fate.
No, you want to get to the point where you play safe in the... Oh, looks like there's some action on the bot lane, actually. Alright. Yep. Nice disengage from Janna.
Wow, that was a really nice Howling Gale. It went on the side where the shield wasn't facing, so it didn't get blocked.
Right, little tussle in the river between the two junglers.
My money's honestly, on Elise.
What's that?
I was saying my money's on Elise if that goes down.
Yeah, versus Echo, Elise definitely has the advantage in that. Oh,
open here, there she lands the cocoon, gets the Spinaling procs, has the terrible bite down. Oh, and she E's a little bit too early, so has to flash, but Sark picks the kill up with the Q, and Gnar's here to assist, but he's on the wrong side of the wall. That's a cocoon down. Okay, Mechanerd playing it safe.
And I don't know if you caught that, but Elise dodged Echo's stun with her E. That's why it seemed a little bit early, but she dodged the parallel convergence stun. It was
I missed it.
Very well played. Wow.
I'm glad you saw that, because
yeah, that was impressive.
That was actually really well played then.
Yeah, it looks like Spooky Midnight is kind of answering. Despite the laner's advantage, it looks like Elise is, you know, I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like Echo wasn't expecting the invade from her.
Ooh, and I just want to touch on Kuro's little mechanic right there. That was beautiful. You throw the middle card, because that's at the spot you want them to dodge away from. And Alcanthos looking out for that. The middle card gets hit by the side card as he steps away from it.
Oh. But honestly, it's still, despite, you know, maybe Kuro having the mechanics, it does look like Lulu is getting the advantage of that. I think Kuro's playing
I just wanted to...
Oh yeah, definitely. Here's the
Elise in Echo yet again dodges the stun by walking out of it, but there's 4 members collapsing with 3 extra ones. Oh, and she goes right back to Mordekaiser. Janna flashes down to put the Eye of the Storm on her, gets that beautiful 3-man Howling Gale, and Elise might be able to walk away from this one. Tristana's there for a little bit of mental reassurance. Janna blocks the winner's bite. What a good pal. Gold card down onto Lulu. Wild cards flying. Glitter lances are going.
Yeah, great trade for Kuro there. He actually went double Doran's to match the Fiendish Codex on Lulu. So while Lulu does get her spells up more, Kuro does have a little bit more health. There's some action going on bot lane.
I also just noticed Tristana is able to do a lot of damage as a good counter pick to these lane guys because they need to be meleeing close to each other when they attack you. The explosion's going to hit both of them, plus she has ample amount of time to get stacks on.
So maybe Spooky Midnight was during the draft phase. They were kind of almost baiting SkyHi into picking
Parallel
Mordekaiser.
Convergence is down. Gold card goes out, but Echo is there. Enemy cleans it up. Kuro goes down for the second time.
And he gets the flash. So that's a Twisted Fate with
brutal.
no flash. He does have Ghost, but that's just not as effective as getting away from ganks as flashes.
Yeah, he's going to have to play super safe now, and with Lulu having the lane pressure, that nullifies Twisted Fate's surprise mechanic on that he can pull off with his ult. Oh, sorry, element of surprise. It's not really a mechanic, but...
Well, I mean, that being said, Twisted Fate, once he is 6 yet? No, he's not quite. Once he does turn 6, he does have a lot of gank opportunities. Both lanes for Spooky Midnight
notice
are pushed
Echo.
in.
Right now, Midnight Leaf is pretty low. Even though his rage bar is filling up, they might go for the dive here. Olaf looking huge in the terms of health bar.
Yeah, Olaf and Elise are both on the same side of the jungle again. They've been mirroring each other's paths this entire game, and they've crossed more than once. Okay, so it looks like Gnar turns into Mega Gnar, stalling off the potential dive for a little bit longer. And, alright, Echo's gonna walk away. Says he doesn't want to tussle with that. Stun under tower. And we actually saw bot lane Mordekaiser drop the ult on top of Harper.
Yeah, just for a little extra lane pressure, because even though they're pushing in, they are taking a lot of harass. However, they've got that sustain to, well, deal with it.
Oh wow, Twisted Fate, he actually picks up Lucidity boots first. That's really interesting. Wow. I honestly don't know what to say about that. I haven't seen that before.
I've seen it a couple times in pro play. I think it's really good so you can build full damage items, and I believe you'll get a little bit more value for buying something like Rabadon's or Luden's Echo than you would from the little bit of penetration from the boots. But he is going up against a huge tank squad, so that might prohibit him from doing a lot of damage. Oh, Elise gets the cocoon right now. He's going in for the kill. Lulu pops the wild growth and a teleport's being channeled. Olaf's going to be here to clean it up if Lulu doesn't come up with the kill first. Arcanthos gets it, and here's Mecha Nerd. He picks up his third kill. That is one scary bearded man.
Yeah, killing spree for the Viking, man. That's one scary dude. He's 3-0. He's got his phage for the extra little bit of movement speed, and they started dragging again. It looks like another 4-man group. Lulu's putting some pressure on mid. They honestly don't even need her, and Mordekaiser is going to get the dragon again.
Yeah, Gnar was already pushed back into his tower beforehand, so he couldn't respond. Although he had teleport.
Yeah, and this is kind of indicative, or at least reminiscent of the last game.
Ooh.
We saw the top. Oh,
Alcanthos walking into his rock in a hard place, but that's only because Gnar made her go there.
He misses.
No, he didn't miss the rock. The minion bro stepped in front of it.
Wow, what a friend.
Oh, the BM span. Gnar does have... Oh, Twisted Fate! I was going to say Gnar does have flash, but that might be a kill picked up for all... No! Kuro gets out with barely any life.
Here comes
that was
Olaf,
a great
though.
ult by him.
Oh, sneaky.
Bearded man on the horizon. Cannot...
Wow.
Oh my god. I felt that axe from here. That hurt.
Yeah, I want to see if he is he maxing it? Let's see. He's maxing... Yeah, it looks like he actually maxed Undertow over the, over, what's it called? Vicious Swing? Strike?
Reckless?
Something like that. Reckless Swing. There we go. So he's actually maxing the Q first, and that's why it did so much damage.
Damn. I mean, dang, that's not really PC. So, it's really great for synergy with the Phage, just ultimate chase potential. You hit one, you're going to hit all of them.
Yeah, and that is a 10-minute Black Cleaver, and that is not a very cheap item. I think it's just around 3,000 gold, which is pretty impressive. So, he's a quite fed Viking man. Sitting on, he's sitting right around 4,000 gold. That's about right.
Dang. Alrighty, so Lulu still has the advantage in mid lane, CS, kills, assists, everything. Although Tristana is ahead of Mordekaiser, which is a good spot for them, because Tristana's going to be the carry late game.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to kind of keep that lead. It looks like they're taking Krugs away from Elise. You know, Elise isn't doing too bad for herself. She doesn't really need those Krugs. It's good that it's going over to Tristana, so hopefully, you know, she can kind of carry that game since everyone else seems to be falling a little bit short.
I mean, they're playing
really
it pretty well. I just think SkyHi is out-rotating them when it comes to the fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's already 2-7 in 10 minutes, and they already have a 3K cold advantage. Last game, we saw almost the same effect. I think it was 12 minutes when we saw that 3K gold advantage for SkyHi last game.
And you're right about Nard getting the Sunfire Cape, or going for that first. The triple proc on Olaf is doing a fair amount of percent damage health, but he's just so much durability with the flask sustain and the lifesteal he gets. Gianna getting caught by Winter's Bite. Braum is chasing in, but Mordekaiser isn't really in a position to help. He was clearing out some wards.
Yeah, so regardless of the fact that Mordekaiser is down in CS, they do have a turret advantage already in the bottom lane. So once again, they're up 1 turret to 0. Oh, here's the turnaround. No, nothing comes of it.
Yeah, and Gianna and Tristana usually... Oh, there's like a dive going on mid lane right under the turret. Oh, no, there's not. I freaked out for nothing. Sorry. Auto camera had me bottom lane. I saw these faces there. Oh, Twisted Fate's popping Destiny. Here he goes. Gets the gold card onto Mordekaiser. Kuro making the big plays. Braum disengages with the glacial thing. Kuro behind him gets the gold card around the unbreakable shield. Elise splashes in, but Cocoon weaves the needle. Threads the needle, excuse me. And they're picking up kills. That's the third one. Olaf is here. Tristana, rocket jumping in, rocket jumping out after the reset. He can't be disabled, but Monsoon says otherwise. Can Elise pick it up here? Now Echo's a little bit enough to scare him off. Nar's pushing topside.
Oh, that Lulu damage is ridiculous. Already half shots Elise with just one combo. They might look to re-engage here.
Ooh, nice little time winder slow from Echo. I don't think that was intentional, but it happened, so...
Yeah, Echo still had his ult up and everything. And once again, Nar didn't even have to TP for that fight. It looks like it was down, but Spooky Midnight was able to win that just based off the fact that SkyHi overextended just a little bit on that Mordekaiser and Braum combo.
And beautiful Destiny from Kuro, coming in right behind him, locking up the key targets. Elise did as best as he could to defend it. He had the shield up, but really nice chaining of abilities. Scholar had the Monsoon, that kept the team alive. And then they knew when to back off.
Yeah, so off of that one play, we actually do see Spooky Midnight. They are only down 1k now, versus what we were just talking about, nearly 3k. So they did definitely come back from that. And SkyHi is going to go ahead and switch up their tactics. They send the duo bot lane up top to try and take Nar's outer turret. That is the last standing outer turret. And then once they do that, they might look to pressure mid or elsewhere. But they do want that last outer turret.
Yeah, and if Spooky Midnight's able to even up the turret game, they've got plenty of gold left on the map to make that happen.
Yeah, it looks like
and now
only turret they have is top.
We're seeing SkyHi call a rotation, putting their bottom lane up top side. The bottom lane is a lot better at taking a turret than a solo laner is, so they're going to give Olaf free reign on the bottom side of the map. Although putting your duo lane up top like that with 40 seconds on Dragon could be risky.
Yeah, it's an interesting rotation. Olaf does still have TP and Nard doesn't. Oh, actually it just came up. So I would expect to see both of them go top lane again, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing Janna and Lulu rotate back down bot lane, and the same thing can be said for SkyHi. They're sending Mordekaiser and Braum back bot lane, and they're setting up for Dragon.
Alright, in the same style as last time, SkyHi using these mid-game power spikes to do it. Although Agiles doesn't quite have Trinity completed, Mordekaiser's still a threat. Tristana doesn't even have Infinity Edge finished yet either, so she's going to be lacking in the damage department.
She is CSing well, though. She does have 124 CS at 14 minutes. That is nothing to laugh at, honestly. And it looks like they're going to give up the Dragon.
Midnight. Well, Spooky Midnight adapting. Last time Dragon fights did not work in their favor, so they decided to start putting pressure on mid. They're like, okay, you can have the Dragon, but we're going to try to take mid. Unfortunately, they did get a lot of damage, but they didn't take the full turret.
But yeah, not enough to justify SkyHi getting a 6th member with 2,700 HP. That's just ridiculous. And here it comes.
That's
they
just
group
broken.
Again and just let it. Yeah, they're just going to siege with the Dragon again. This is exactly like last game.
It's just wild. I'm watching a league game where there's not an AD carry per se on the one side of the team, like a ranged auto attack champion.
And it's working.
That's just, it's wild. Yeah. I mean, they as in Riot, I guess, wanted to change the meta around, but it's almost weird to me that they completely tailored a champion to be OP in the bottom lane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to diversify things, but honestly,
But is that
kinda
really
pigeonhole-
diversity when you
Exactly.
force people to play the 1 OP champion that will work the best in that spot?
Yeah, so I think they. Oh wow.
Echo
Sean
going
jumps
down.
in.
There's a time winder. He goes right back behind him. A teleport coming in from Olaf, and he might be able to pick up Kuro here, but not after Kuro slays Echo. The knock up, there's Undertow. Tristana's going down quickly. Buster shots Olaf away, but that axe is chopping people down. Nar's mega, but he still has to flash the wall because that bearded man is 6-0 right now. Man,
Yeah, and Olaf single-handedly carried that fight. He,
Mecha
like we were
nerd.
talking about, he kind of focused on Kuro. Mordekaiser put his ult on Kuro as well, so they got the Twisted Fate Ghost almost immediately. Gnar landed, I think, a 3-man ult on that wall, but at that point, it didn't matter. Olaf had already taken down 2 members of Spooky Midnight at that point, and they're just going to keep pushing with the Kuro Ghost. Yeah, Twisted Fate's doing some work, so regardless of if it's a dragon or another member...
They might have stopped the turret for a few seconds. They're getting it. The gate's in. Kuro picking up another kill. He's not happy. He wants revenge from those last times he died. Here comes Harper Lee. He might pick up a kill here, but Echo's time winding in. He's got the parallel convergence that stuns Elise. Harper's chasing. He rocket jumps in. That's the explosive shot. Double kill. Right back over the wall. Elise, cleanup duty on the minions. But Mecha Nerd's pushing top lane right now and gets the turret.
Well, and I think that Spooky Midnight is okay with this trade. They pick up 3 kills there, 2 of them going onto Harper Lee, and that's exactly what they're looking for. Look at how fast this turret's going to go down.
Yeah, Tristana Janna is a dirty combo when it comes to taking turrets.
So they don't quite equalize the turrets, but they do equalize the turret trade. So they both go 1 for 1, pick up a couple kills, and, you know, 3k gold down at this point is still significant, definitely not negligible, but it's not as bad as 11 or 12 minutes, so
yeah, Spooky
they're still
Midnight
doing alright.
A lot better early on this time.
Yeah.
Although they are still behind, they're adapting their strategy and it's working out, and that's the kind of evolution you want to see in a team.
Now, let's see. It looks like Elise did go Runeglaive this game. I was wondering if she would go Cinderhulk or Runeglaive. It looked like Twisted Fate is going to be kind of a CC bot, gold card every 4 or 5 seconds. He built a Zanyas first to stay safe, maybe look for a little Messiah plays on his gate and stun someone. Zanyas, wait for the cooldown to come up, and then go back right at it again.
Pretty much
Gnar's looking for the same thing.
Dodging Brahms ult and possibly like a Glitter Lance and an Undertow.
There's a lot to dodge with that Zanyas.
Yeah, there's a lot to dodge, but it's not, aside from Brahms ultimate, it's not huge abilities. You know? Like, there's a pretty short cooldowns that he's dodging, so Spooky Midnight is gonna have to be very on the same page when it comes to pulling off one
maybe
of those.
like maybe a Morello's first would have been a little bit better. Alright, they're just dancing around. It would have worked pretty well. He would have had... Actually, he would have had 40% CDR if he had the right masteries on. So, 19 minutes in the game with 40% CDR is nothing to laugh at on a Twisted Fate. But he does opt for the safe Zanyas. So, we'll see what he's able to do. It looks like he's going to set up for some picks, maybe. But honestly, there's not too many people to pick off.
I mean, Lulu's a probably good pick, but she does have a lot of defense in her kit. And right now, Mecha Nerd pushing bot lane, using that 6-0 advantage to get some things for his team going.
This is what they want, though. They do want Tristana matched up with Olaf.
Oh, and they're going in 3v1. That's a slowdown, but he pops Ragnarok. It doesn't matter, Howling Gale can't knock up Olaf. And there's a topside trade going down. Nar's getting jumped. Time Winder down. Parallel Convergence wasn't enough. I mean, was enough to keep him locked in place. Ocanthos comes up with the kill. And Olaf gets out safely. Oh, here comes the Destiny Gate. Kuro's a little bit off, but here's the gold card. It goes down onto Braum. They want Mordekaiser. Exhaust is on Mord. Braum's already expended his ult, and they're still chasing. That's a gold card. Tristana here to pick it up, and Sark gets the kill on Bleach.
Oh, it's enough, yeah.
There it is. And there's another explosion. Harper Lee picks up the kill. Mecha Nerd, however, says, okay, kill my teammates, I'll take your towers.
So, once again, we're seeing the kills for turrets trade. They are still sitting at 4 for 2 turrets, so if they're going to take a trade like that, they need to get that turret. Split pushing is not going to be as viable anymore. Looks like Tristana is sitting at 3-1 now, so she's going to wreck the turrets, and honestly, it might just be better for SkyHi to group at this point.
Yeah, they are ahead, and their team fight is, I'd say, pretty good. They've got a lot of utility going for them between Lulu, Braum, and the dives potential.
Especially with a 6-0 Olaf, he actually built that new item, which
Titanic
is
Hydra.
Titanic Hydra instead of Ravenous Hydra. Yeah, that's an interesting item. It hasn't been around long enough for me to see it on Olaf, but I can imagine it working pretty well. Instead of its active being on a 10-second cooldown like Ravenous Hydra, it's on a 20-second cooldown, and it actually fires its area of effect in a cone in front of him. So
really good at wave clear combined with Undertow.
Yeah, I would imagine going for Hydra would be a little bit better.
Dragons under Wii, Elise is getting chunked out, Winter's Bite is down, and they're using all their CC on Braum.
3 men.
Oh, Gnar gets 3 men into the wall, but his team is nowhere to be found, and he gets jumped. Olaf wreaking havoc in the back, Wild Growth is down, Rocket Jump is out, and SkyHi comes up with the 2 kills for none. Enemy and Alcanto's barely limping out of that one, though.
And just like that, that's a 2 for nothing, and it looks like they might try and start up the dragon again, giving Mordekaiser the pet dragon once again. They might look for the bottom turret after that, actually. They are a little bit low.
Enemy's going pretty low on the dragon, but that's a lot of people and a lot of damage.
Alright, so it's picked up. Twisted Fate's looking for an opportunity to
Kuro might be able to pick one off, but that's dangerous going into 4 people like that.
Okay, so he decides
There's
to
the gate.
in, but yeah, he wasn't going for the kill. It looks like they're looking to group and maybe push that inner mid turret.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a really good trade for Spooky Midnight because they did have to give up Dragon. They need to start taking these objectives if they don't want to be too far behind for the late game.
And that looks like exactly what they're going to do.
With Tristana, Gianna, why not? Play to your strengths.
Yep,
Olaf coming in behind him. Here's the dragon flank. Can't say I've ever said that before. Although it is free mana for Kuro. Here comes Olaf. They're collapsing on him. He pops Ragnarok. He's immune to the crowd control, so he's just distracting them for right now. Here comes the teleport from Midnight Leaf. He's about to go Mega. He is Mega. Parallel Convergence splits off the fight, but Gnar's in there alone, and he gets taken out by Mecha Nerd. The dragon is still doing massive damage. It finally goes down. Gianna monsoons the team for safety. 3-man Howling Gale. Tristana's still on the wrong side of the wall. She's split off.
Yeah, SkyHi played that perfectly. Instead of letting Janna monsoon their carries away as soon as they tried to dive, they focused Gnar the front line and actually chain CC'd him, so he didn't even have a chance to ult there. He had a perfect 5-man ult setup, and Braum actually linked his Winter's Bite with Echo's Parallel Convergent and didn't even give him a chance to ult.
Oh, Tristana for the cleanup. She hits Braum with the shot, but he goes back to base.
Yeah, he says no thank you. They actually normalized it to be, I think, 0.25 seconds before the recall finishes. Before it was a random number between 0.1 and 0.5 seconds, I believe, where if you took damage, you would still recall at a value between those two. And they actually normalized it, so now at a quarter of a second, if you take damage before that, you will be interrupted, but anytime after, then you'll still be going back.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did that because there were some instances where you're like, how did that get me? And there's some instances like, wait, what? I got away? Look at that Titanic Hydra, though. Just cleaving these minions to pieces. The shockwaves.
Yeah, that was a great pickup for Olaf. It looks like the next item he's going to go, he did pick up the cowl and also the Kindle Gem for a little bit more cooldown reduction. He's sitting on about 30% CDR from items, so he's going to be able to spam the Undertow.
Yeah, Cocoon lands on Mordekaiser, but they're afraid of taking a fight into a blind territory. And Olaf using the Baron minions, chunking the turret out of a quarter of its HP. I'll learn to talk one day, man.
Alright, if they're gonna go in, they have to go in now.
Misses. Gnar's going in, misses the wallop, misses the rock. He's got to get those skill shots down. His Mega Bar is about to run out. He has Gnar, but he lost the window of opportunity, and he's just that glitter lance just cutting them down. Here goes Echo. Parallel Convergence on 4 members. 4-man Wild Growth. Everyone's blowing up. Monsoon's knocking him backwards, but it's way too late and not enough.
Oh, there's the 5th.
And here might be the ace. Time Winder. Not enough to clip him. Agile's picking up a lot of kills and the turret.
And that was the perfect wombo combo. Echo landed
was
a parallel
beautiful.
convergence on, I think, yeah, 4 or 5 people. And then Lulu, instead of defensively knocking up, she actually used it offensively, not to get him low, but just to add another layer of CC to that wombo combo. You don't need an Orianna and a Malphite to wombo combo everybody, turns out.
And the AoE coming from the Titanic Hydra, the Undertow, all of Mordekaiser's abilities, AoE right there. Time Winder going through him, Glitter Lance going through him. That was just sick, man.
Yeah, not only is the
Nars on the
re-engage?
chase.
Nope. All right. So there's the disengage. Yeah, not only is the Olaf 8-0. Oh, they're gonna.
Oh, they walked right into it. Parallel convergence down. Nice Gnar onto 3 of the members. Time Winder's down. Echo's gonna stay alive. That's a cute little Gnar going down. OF a little bit low on the front line. Janna's flashing, but it's not enough to get out of there. Scholar is down. Mecha Nerd 9-0-6. He cannot be stopped or contained.
Yeah, look at me. I'm trying to analyze the game, and they just said analyze this and just charge straight into them from the Fog of War. Looks like they're gonna pick up Twisted Fate after
Kuro's
this as
going
well.
down. Wild Growth out. That's another ace again. SkyHi. Brute forcing their way to victory in Game 2 out of the best of 3. They're moving on to the finals next week, and Spooky Midnight, unfortunately, is now out of the tournament.
Yeah, Alcantos was dominating at the end, and I'd say that applies to SkyHi's performance in these last 2 games as well. They just dominated the field with, I mean, Mordekaiser definitely helped, but I think Alcantos showed up pretty big too on the Zed and the Lulu during these 2 games as well.
Absolutely. Mecha Nerd last game did not have this type of showing. It was good, but this was phenomenal. He was just everywhere, all the time, doing all the damage. And just great coordination from SkyHi. Spooky Midnight showed a lot of promise initially, though. They seemed to fix some of their mistakes, but they just didn't have enough to take the extra objectives or anything off the other team fights that they were winning.
Yeah, their pick phase definitely improved, and they did ban out a couple more key champions that would cause them, you know, a little bit of trouble. But once again, they let Mordekaiser go through with the intention of pushing him into turret with Janna and Tristana, and it just didn't work out that way.
I mean, Enemy helped in the jungle. He came down and ganked early on, and they picked up that kill, and that kind of put the momentum in Agile and Lisa's favor.
That's true.
Alrighty, well, thanks for tuning in, y'all. We'll be back on tonight for the Challenger Series style match. We're going to have Industrious Gaming facing off against Northern Hospitality. If Industrious Gaming wins, they will be moved up into the Premier League, and Northern Hospitality drops down into the Minor League. So those hopes and dreams come true. We'll see if they come true for Industrious Gaming through their